building up for that recall. He brings an Arbiter right over top. Once the probes are there, he brings the dropship in. He manages to take missions. Here comes luxury. Welcome to Brood War Highlights. This is a matchup between Hwaseung Oz and SK Telecom. It is their first match of the season, and of course also a rematch of last season's Pro League Finals. A chance for Oz to get a bit of revenge. Jaedong and Bisu have both been looking strong this season, though neither of them has got a whole lot of playing time thus far. But as if this matchup wasn't exciting enough, it is Boxer's debut of the season. The Emperor himself is playing Killer in Game 2. But first to Game 1.
Game 1 is a ZVZ played on Heartbreak Ridge. This is between Hyuk for SK Telecom and Jaedong for Hwaseung Oz. This is a rematch actually of last year's Pro League Finals these two players faced on, and Hyuk unexpectedly took that matchup. Jaedong spawning here red at the 3 o'clock position, and Hyuk for SK Telecom, the yellow player, at 9 o'clock. Both these players do a mirror build, right down to getting their mutas at the exact same second. Now Hyuk moving out here, he mixed in a couple Scourge as well, and manages to snipe an Overlord here of Jaedong's before Jaedong's troops can get there. And Jaedong actually takes a Scourge hit or two here, and Hyuk is able to force Jaedong to retreat and deal quite a bit of damage to him, coming out with a much larger army after that battle. Both players now putting down their expansion at their natural, and both players content to macro up now for the moment. Hyuk here moving out with a group of Lings and the rest of his Muta Force and Scourge Force towards Jaedong's natural. Jaedong picks off some of the Lings before they get there, and then both players engage with their Scourge and Mutas. The battle rages for quite some time, but Hyuk actually comes out with the better force. He had more Mutas from that first battle and is able to mop up all of Jaedong's Mutas, able to snipe all his drones, and Hyuk wins once again. SK takes the lead in this series 1-0.
Game 2 is between Boxer and Killer on the map Tornado. Boxer is for SK Telecom, Killer is for Oz. Boxer is the Terran at the 1 o'clock position, Killer is the Zerg at the 10 o'clock position. He goes for a 12 hatch and sends his Overlord to the right spot and sees that Boxer is going for Factory, and then he sees the Starport later on. So of course he builds Hydras. He's more than ready for Boxer's first Wraith, which comes out, goes right across the map, over top of just about every single Hydra list that Killer has out. It dies, as it just passes the last one. Boxer not happy about that. The Hydras come in to attack Boxer's new expansion. He's got a bunker there though and drives them off. Killer starts his expansion at 7 o'clock, and the next Wraith comes out, and it starts to harass these Overlords. He actually manages to pick off 3 Overlords, maybe even 4, once he gets his second Wraith out, and he harasses those drones for a fair amount, kills a few drones. Killer does a nice maneuver here, brings his Scourge down right as that Overlord pops. The Scourge come and kill those 2 Wraiths. So their first real clash is in the middle of the map. Killer manages to split up Boxer's forces, and Boxer decides to go for it. He grabs his Marines and Medics, and he heads across the map towards Killer's expansion. Killer does a stop Lurker. Those Marines go running right into those Lurkers. Things not looking good for Boxer. Killer expands again. Boxer runs this little force of Marines and Medics, only about 6 Marines, 2 Medics, runs them across the map up into this 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock expansion, kills quite a few drones here before they get wiped out. He then starts his 3rd command center. Then he sends a small control group of infantry down, mostly consisting of Firebats. He goes around the whole map before Killer sees him. Killer's army is unable to get there and block the ramp, so those Firebats get into that 8 o'clock expansion. They start killing drones. The Dark Swarm goes up, but of course that's useless against the Firebats. Those Zerglings come up and they just start getting roasted. He has to retreat those Zerglings so that Killer can get his Lurkers up the ramp. Those Firebats just go after that hatchery, which they eventually take down. Killer loses to that expansion. Then, after that, Boxer goes down to Killer's new 7 o'clock expansion. Killer lets him have that one without a fight. So Killer needs to make his move now. In the middle of the map, he gets his army of Lurkers and Lings together. He goes for Boxer's tank wall, but he runs right through a field of Vulture mines. Half those Lurkers go down from the mines, the rest are damaged, and Killer's whole army gets wiped out here. So Boxer builds a nuke silo. He then runs a group of Marines, going down for a harass into a group of Lurkers. Killer goes for Boxer's 11 o'clock expansion. He takes out that nuke silo, but Boxer manages to take out the Lurker there, and he starts rebuilding the nuke silo. Then things start to go a little downhill here for Boxer. After losing some SCVs that expansion, he loses a group of Marines and Medics in the middle of the map. A nice surround here by Killer with his Zerglings and Lurkers to support. So then, Boxer makes his move. He sets up a line of mines blocking off Killer's army, then he goes for that 9 o'clock expansion, Killer's natural. He deals some damage with fire bats underneath the Dark Swarm there. Killer's forced to go around and attack Boxer's expansion. He can't get to a defend because of the Vulture Mines. So Boxer brings the Ghost down to that 8 o'clock expansion, same one that he took out before. That Ghost gets up the ramp undetected. Killer has no overloads around. The nuke goes down on the hatchery, kills some drones. Killer GG's. Boxer, though definitely not flawless, definitely as exciting and entertaining as ever. Looking forward to more games from him this season. SK Telecom is 2-0 in the series.
Game 3 is being played on match point between Bisu and Perfect Man. These two have also faced each other in last year's Pro League, where Bisu easily beat Perfect Man with a little cheese build. Perfect Man spawning bottom left for Oz as the red player, and Bisu is top right as the yellow player. Both these players open with the same builds, going for one gateway, but then Bisu proxies these two gateways just outside his base, and that's a much closer rush distance to the other base. Perfect Man, suspecting something's up, tries to get a scout up here, but it gets sniped before he sees it. But he puts down 2 gates just in case anyways. He suspects some sort of rush is up here from Bisu, and so it is. Bisu coming across the map with a lot more goons than Perfect Man. Perfect Man still only on 1 gateway producing, and Bisu able to get right in here with many more goons, take them down. Probes coming out for Perfect Man. He's trying to defend this, but Bisu gets right down into the main. More probes coming in again. This is a real short match. Easy win for Bisu here. More reinforcements coming from him. And once again, he stomps Perfect Man. And SK take this 3-0 over the runners-up from last year, and they're looking quite strong.